Oh, happy Monday. Welcome on into another edition of Xfeed. My name is The Schiller. We're going to recap one of the biggest stories that happened last week because you've probably forgotten. We're going to highlight a little bit about the doodles, the market reaction to that. The comparison game is really starting to kick off as per usual, and a whole bunch of the other NFT Web3 goodies. So on November 14th, which I believe was Thursday last week, Eleanor Tourette said, Scoop, 18 US states have filed to sue the SEC and its commissioners, accusing them of unconstitutional overreach and unfair persecution of the crypto industry under the leadership of agency chief Gary Gensler. Now, on Friday morning, we wake up and there is this announcement basically from him, or at least public statement, whatever it is. And it basically sounds like he's potentially going to resign. And well, obviously, we see the crypto market also have some positive action around that. But this happened a week ago, and I feel like everybody's completely forgotten about that because there's so much going on within the crypto space that, like, why would you remember that? But we got people making meme coins off of Gary Gensler potentially being gone. We got AI agents within the meme coin era. It's all over the place. But this is one of the funniest things, and it is totally true for anybody that doesn't use like TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Elio Trade saying retailers genuinely believe Pepe could go to $1. That would give it a $420 trillion market cap, bigger than the GDP of the planet. This is the current state of crypto in 2024. And it's funny too, because like, I mean, ask this stuff like 2 months ago. People don't care about crypto, like, period. Like, it's not a conversation. You don't bring it up with anybody. You say, hey, like, this is cool. And I mean, us, right? Us, we talk about it. We've covered it. We're excited about it. But generally, for most people, they didn't care about it until a week ago. So I went back and I took a clip from one of the Emergence X Futureverse spaces because I think there is so much within, like, the Futureverse ecosystem that you just miss. And I did, like, a whole thread on Silo. If you're following on YouTube or my X page, I made a thread or a compilation of a bunch of conversations around Silo itself, if you want to check that out. But I think the connection between just like the world and the blockchain is going to happen in kind of a seamless way. And so I thought this was kind of interesting, coming from Aaron McDonald talking about the Pass platform, I guess, wallet login system. I'm not sure like the correct word for it, but we'll play the clip and move on.
For everyone. But then the need of also adding more and more login options in Pass via socials. First was the email, then the phone number, then the social logins, and now keep adding options to that. The last two that were added is Apple, login with the Apple account and login via Discord account directly in Pass. They just keep adding opportunities for more users to participate and get access to all of the different experiences that eventually implement Pass in themselves. And
I think by the end of this cycle of roadmap with those integrations, Pass would be the broadest onboarding tool
I agree.
for Web 2 out there in the Web 3 space by far.
Yes,
It's all about.
I mean, we are not done yet. We are still.
Can you explain that a little?
Just
yeah. So can you explain
well,
that
so
a little more?
the range of options for people to be able to use an existing account to create a smart wallet on Pass, in terms of the range of those options, I think Pass as a platform is ahead of anything else out there in the space in providing that range. And that including the stuff that's out there already, but also the few extra that are now in.
So it still goes on for about 40 seconds, but basically he's just saying there's a lot of different ways to sign into what's going on to the Futureverse ecosystem for other people to potentially use this pass to be able to log into whatever site it is. I mean, right now, if you go to a new website, let's say it's about buying Pokemon cards, I don't know. And you're able to sign in with like your Google or your Apple account, and it's usually only those two options. Basically, that's just highlighting the fact that they're going to have a whole bunch of them, which is kind of cool. Okay, Doodles. Do you guys like brands or do you like brands? The McDonald's collaboration officially starts. It seems like it's only in the US for what I've seen. I checked out the Canadian McDonald's app today and it didn't show it, but expect to see a ton of Doodles and McDonald's stuff on your timeline. And of course, we're going to talk about it here. But I saw this post from JYP that was highlighting just the different brands of Web3 that have connected to the brands of Web2. And so Pudgy Penguin's on the far right here, I'm highlighting Walmart, Target, a couple of other different places. They've been at Comic-Con, Valencia, which is a massive soccer team, which is kind of cool. Van Eck obviously using a ton of the Pudgy Penguin branding across their social platforms, and they did do a New York Stock Exchange takeover a while back, which is actually really, really cool, and they highlighted a ton of Pudgy Penguins during that, and so again, expect that to all be connected. Izuki, for this Oracle Red Bull Racing Ambush, which I'm actually not sure what Ambush is. Line Friends is, let me look this up because you probably know what Line Friends is, and I think we've talked about it like at the time, but if you don't see like the images for it, you're gonna have like no idea. So Line Friends is like, it's the bear, it's the extra like kind of cute characters for like GIFs, memes, all that kind of stuff that was or at a point pretty big, but they're associated with that. They also had Patrick Mahomes, which we highlighted the other day for the Museum of Mahomes, the NFT that I guess you could redeem like almost graded cards, but it's like just authenticated collectibles specifically from Patrick Mahomes itself, not associated with anything else. Billy, which is a huge enterprise. Bored Apes, they've partnered with BMW. Macbeth, they've gotten Gucci, they've gotten Bape, they've gotten Adidas, Rolling Stone, but Rolling Stone's also written articles about how Bored Apes suck, but they've also done none of the mainstream stuff makes any sense. And then they have the code is in here, but that listen, this is a cop out. You can't say that because these are the same people doing that. True. And then over in Doodles, they got Rubik's Cube, McDonald's, Crocs, G-Shock, Arizona Iced Tea, Adidas. I'm guessing this is Lego, even though it doesn't say Lego. But arguably, you could probably go and say, all right, Pudgy and Doodles have probably the most. Bored Apes has got some cool things, but the only thing that I don't really get with like the BMW and some of these other ones, it's like it was kind of like quick one-offs, and it doesn't seem like there's been like a whole lot more for it. Like Bape, they've continued for the collabs. Gucci, they did the initial necklace, and then it's felt like they've not done anything. Macbeth, same thing, had a drop, never heard of it again. Rolling Stone had the drop, then they ended up making fun of it. Round 21, I think they still do stuff. I have like one of the basketballs behind me, but for anybody that was minting Bored Apes way back in the day, you might remember those, but it was just like a basketball that was like a special brand that had some BYC logoing on it. But with the reaction to McDonald's, we have Doodles absolutely flying. Somebody paying 41 Ethereum. 41 Ethereum for this alien doodle. We also saw a Moonbird get sold for 1 ETH that previously sold for like 100 plus ETH. So NFTs, some are having massive heydays. Other ones are having like the worst time possibly imaginable. Okay, so Quit with an interesting post here talking about ApeChain. So it sounds like you are not going to have to bridge your NFTs onto ApeChain, which is a big conversation within the space of everybody launching NFTs and then doing their own blockchain, right? As an example, Futureverse, Root, Fluff World, all that kind of stuff. Bored Apes, they have the ApeChain connection with Yuga. It's kind of all over the place. We have the Somnia thing that's supposed to be coming out as well. And I'm trying to think of it now. So there is a blockchain that other side is being built on or with that I think is like called Somnia, but there's also that Sony blockchain that's coming out that's called something different, but I'm forgetting which names for which. Anywho, powered by Layer 0 Core, new IZ technology, we're able to miner all assets from Ethereum main wallet to ApeChain. And they're calling it NFT Shadows in a trustless way and without touching the mainnet assets. But that's not all. Shadows will respect delegations in our brand new Worm V2, a much granular version of Worm. So for anybody that doesn't know what like delegations are, if you have an NFT in your wallet, there's a couple of different tools you're able to use to say, hey, we want to have the cold wallet with these assets that can delegate to the specific hot wallet, and you can do whatever on this hot wallet. Well, we don't have to touch those assets, and so it's just saying it can read that. Delegate ownership of a single token, all tokens on a contract, or your entire wallet. You can delegate your ability to delegate. Fret not, if no delegation exists on Worm V2, it will automatically fall back to checking V1. Wherever you choose to delegate to, that's where your NFTs will live on ApeChain. The NFTs are soul-bound, unapprovable, and untransferable. The only way to move them is to update your mainnet delegation or move the NFT on mainnet. If you'd rather your NFT live on ApeChain, you can bridge it via a method similar to Layer 0's ONFT standard. And this is another question with a lot of NFTs is there going to be any kind of incentive to move it over to to a certain chain? Is there going to be some kind of token reward? Is there just the utility that's associated with it of some sort? And a lot of that is to be seen. If you lock your NFT in a contract on mainnet, your shadow will unlock on ApeChain. This opens up NFT finance and other use cases on ApeChain if you need them. So either way, kind of cool, and we're seeing more and more technological advances as we move along. So Dove with Coin, their X account was hacked. We bring up like security wherever we can. Just a reminder, you see an announcement on Discord, you see something on X that seems too good to be true. Take a break, have a good time, order some DoorDash, open a Coke, whatever the hell you do you. But just have a clear peace of mind and don't FOMO over anything, because again, it's too good to be true. Probably. Punk sales bought blowing up like my phone is in 2021. 10 million in sales over the last 24 hours. Now, this was back on the 15th, so a couple days ago. Heading into the weekend, we saw the OpenSea CEO sweeping a couple of punks. We saw a lot of other individuals as well. We saw the Flooring Protocol CEO also say that he hates the gods and their token is stupid. Absolutely dumped a ton of it and then went and bought a punk. So that was interesting, but still, either way, like, oh my goodness, does the rally lead with punks for NFTs? People are just unbelievably feeling confident. Like, it's a complete different shift over the past few weeks, and it's really interesting to see. Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors ended up going back. He's now with the Dallas Mavericks, but they gave out these Klay Thompson captain hats. And I think, if you got the tickets at reasonable prices, probably would have made money. Look at what these in-stadium collectibles are going for. Insane. Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, saying we need more Canadians coming into crypto. Economic freedom awaits. Great to see the Canadians mentioned. And I think this is also kind of funny, though, is because they're highlighting the CFL. Now, the CFL Grey Cup happened the other day. No offense to any Canadians, but it's not the same. Like, it's really not followed by that many people. If you're going into high school or college, you'll probably have maybe 1 to 5 people that actively follow the CFL. It is really not a big deal in Canada. Hockey's kind of the be all and end all, but either way, they're offering $25 of free Bitcoin to start your journey and highlighting the Grey Cup weekend with that. So that's still cool that they are doing such. And speaking of which, over at the I don't even know what this is called. Oracle Arena? I'm seeing this now. It's Oracle Arena, the Golden State Warriors. This is follow up with the Klay Thompson hat. Coinbase is doing ads for people to get them on board, get $5 in Bitcoin at Warrior home games. So, I mean, if you get tickets to all the games, there's 30. Well, that's not that's not bad to get some free Bitcoin going to the games. Takeaway of Bangkok, one of the crypto events. Memes are everything. This is still the case. This is posted on the 15th. My entire timeline's literally just been memes. No eyes are in gaming right now. 100%. We've had a lot of people talk earlier in October, even towards the end of the summer or during the summer, of all these massive things are coming. Just massive hopes, expectations, everything. We've seen jack shit in that regard. It's really funny. And is that a good thing? While we see the crypto market move up, these games are supposed to be sustainable. It's not supposed to be based off of the hype. These gaming things are supposed to be sustainable on their own. And with memes and everything else taking the attention, obviously no games are there. Is this one of those things where we go back and say, okay, our team's delaying because they're waiting for more favorable market conditions, even though the markets are more favorable, but they're waiting for just a little bit of a better reaction to things that aren't memes? Let some of the top players in Bitcoin and whatnot move a little bit, see how it trickles, get people more confident, because we are seeing the sales in certain NFTs and whatnot, but also adding in time for a studio to ship a banger. Speaking of bangers, what's going on, McLovin? How are you, bruv? We almost back. Great to see you, fish. True. Good to see you. Thank you for coming on through. And the question for you is, have you bought any NFTs or crypto lately? That is the question. So all eyes are not on gaming, but how do you get eyes on gaming? Well, we just throw out hundreds of thousands of dollars off the grid. $600,000 off the grid all-star streamer invitational. Witness the 60 best streamers and pros, including XQC, Scump, and a couple others. Go head to head November 20th at 12 p.m. PT for the prize pool. So listen, I've been absolutely screaming this forever. These games have tokens that they could give out on their own. They're saying $600,000. I'm assuming that's just US. I mean, think of think of the backings, right? And how much funds have been putting into it. Van Eck also announced the other day on top of Parallel that Off the Grid was one of their big bets for the blockchain space. There's a lot of money floating around, and a lot of effort and marketing is going to be pushed for collections you're watching right now that have touted that. I expect a lot more to come. Off the Grid's in a place where their game's doing all right. Had the initial come up, and now they're kind of going to go round 2, and we'll see what the fallout from this afterwards is. NFTs, I'm looking to sell everything I want out. Crypto, yes. Okay, so that's interesting. That's very interesting. Towards the end, we're going to get to a very spicy NFT x crypto take. True. This is something I completely forgot about. So we've had the notion of all these new chains are launching. There's going to be token generating events. Pay attention. I'm really bad at paying attention to Azuki, apparently, because they have the anime token coming up. And Seven made this chart that was kind of like a breakdown of like how to get involved, where you could buy like the Azuki, the elemental beans, or this Boboom. Highlighting of the releases, both thesis. I like this. Listen, this is when we ask about like extra context, I actually very much like that there is like an explanation of why they're bullish. So let's see. Hiring top talent in every vertical, no venture capital or external influence, working with anime legends, community first approach. Okay. Get it. Dope collaborations only, art, resonance, and IP, building in public, authentic user-generated content, multiple events all year, active subcommunity. Okay, so this is actually a very good thing, or like very good highlight, because there is a lot of people that just don't do any events in person now whatsoever. So the fact that Azuki is doing multiples in a year, obviously these events are kind of expensive, and you're like, okay, hopefully they don't have any problems with runway, but awesome to see that they are doing that. Collector status, which is like their, I don't know if we call it like staking, but it's just you hold these NFTs, you get points, rewards. They actually have something for that, which is awesome. Multiple content forms, best physicals in Web3, proactive team, and onboarding process. I don't know what the onboarding process is. Proactive team, agree. Best physicals in Web3. Yeah, they've done a lot of really good ones. I would say they're up there for sure. And if you remember the golden skateboards, people were paying like hundreds of thousands of dollars for these like 1 of 8 skateboards. Or I think they might have been like 1 of 1s, but there was like 8 skateboards. I don't know. Anyway, have you bought any NFTs or crypto lately? always, and always. SR here talking a little bit about the Doodles and his family. My late father was a McDonald's franchisee for 30 years. I can only imagine how stunned and intrigued he'd be today, hearing that an NFT I bought 3 years ago is now collaborating with McDonald's. This is insane to think about. Like, if you just stop for a second and say, hey, we were hanging around, we bought this NFT thing just because we thought, hey, this is cool. And now it's working with McDonald's. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool. That's cool as hell. I've got some really cool McDonald's collectibles to probably shill over the coming weeks. This is a ring he got for being an absolute legend. Kiss the McRing dude. So we're going to see all sorts of things regarding McDonald's on the timeline, but cool to see that specific piece. And also the comparison game, which we highlighted at the announcement hint of McDonald's X Doodles. I said on the stream, the entirety of the Web3 space is all about comparisons of who's better, what's better, numbers involved. So 13,500 McDonald's versus 5,000 Walmarts in the US. Now, this is kind of in reference to Pudgy Penguins being in Walmarts and now Doodles coffee cups. And a direct partnership, not just posted up and selling some merch. And so the last line I like more than this, because it's like, everybody wants to go to McDonald's. Not everybody wants to go to Walmart. True. But the direct partnership aspect is very interesting because this is getting pushed by McDonald's, where for Walmart with Pudgy Penguins, they were in the stores. I don't know how much of a social push there was. Does that matter as much? All that really matters are people out there buying it. But McDonald's does seem like they're very, very, very much digging into this. And we'll see if they post about the sales. Yo, McLovin, true. Listen, don't be leveraged. Yo, true. Facts. Okay, so Topps made this tweet, but it wasn't from them. So this is from the Pittsburgh Pirates, okay? So Paul Skeens, absolute phenomenal rookie, insane pitcher, and obviously everybody wants to get the collectible cards, and specifically one of the 1-of-1 rookie debut patch autograph cards. So the Pirates are offering 2 Pirate season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. Meet and greet with Paul Skeens, 2 Skeens autographed jerseys, softball game for 30 at PNC Park with coaching from Pirates alumni, private tour of Pirate City and Letcom Park, and more unique experiences. So then you go into the comments and everybody's saying, well, how much is the card worth? People are saying anywhere between 200 to 400,000. And you're like, okay, well, for tickets that are season tickets for every home game for the next 30 years, I mean, that would kind of add up. But what if this guy ends up being insanely dominant? It just continues to go up in value. And then that card you thought was only a couple $100,000 goes to $1 million. I mean, inflation, right? Never forget inflation. But damn, people have so much money in the world. It makes me so bullish on everything. And we'll get to some crazy numbers here in a second for some other things. Okay, so I heard this Paul card yesterday. I got to be honest. I want cash for the card. If that, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, unless you're like a super big fan. So, Polymarket, which is kind of like this betting platform. Obviously, they were right with the election. And before the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, Jake Paul was massively ahead. Now, I was kind of a fish and thought like, hey, this might like actually be a fight. I mean, of course, no, the Paul brothers and their Scam City back at it again. Absolute payday for Mike Tyson. People saying that not affect the legacy at all. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. The fact that, and it came out that he had like some blood transfusion or some other stuff like 2 months before. And the whole thing's just bad. I don't like any of it. It's just not a great vibe. But still, seeing the Polymarket was right, double dipping there. We'll see kind of what the future holds. And, you know, we're living in a really weird time where we're seeing these bets in a way. And so far, they've been pretty right on some massive events. On the bright side, talking about the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, there was no crypto affiliation to this garbage. Proceed up. Agreed. Good thing there was no involvement. True. So it's time was one of the best posts I've seen on the timeline. You know the bull market is back when the cool cats are giving away nearly $1,000 for literally less than 15 seconds of work. So honestly, if you're watching this right now, you have an internet connection and you can have a camera, phone, whatever to be able to record yourself, all you have to do is draw the cool cat as fast as possible. And if you do that, you can get a cool cat that you can instantly sell for like $1,000. How crazy is this market? Not crazy at all. This happens like all the time, right? To be fair, like not to knock on the comment, right? But you can just be involved and you'll come across some crazy things. You just have to care about it, right? Most people look at these things like, I'm just not going to do anything whatsoever. I mean, that's cool. You don't have to. But there's opportunity everywhere if you're paying attention. And some of the stuff, super easy. Again, you draw a character. Could win big. Because here's the thing, the Pirates might have issues filling the stadium in a couple of years, so how hard will it be to sell my tickets at that point? Also, what inflation is hiring for? Yeah. Nah, I mean, there's way too many things. I'd probably take the cash too. Agreed. So a couple of big doodle sales, one of them being a 10th coffee head, which, you know, bring back traits. One of the biggest problems with the blur bidding and just bidding in general is it basically completely killed the rares, where none of the rares matter anymore. And so I guess they do matter if you got a McDonald's collab and it's all about coffee. True. Or it's a McChicken. We got another one that went for 12 ETH here. This is sorry. It was a 9 ETH sale that got relisted for 12, hoping that they would be able to flip for like a 3 ETH profit. And I mean, they might get it. Kind of nuts. So this is, I don't know what to think of this. So Top Shot Beta. Apparently there's a meme coin that's on Flow, and they're basically saying this is a meme coin off NBA Top Shot. I don't think this thing kind of works, more for the aspect of who the hell cares, except for people that were in Top Shot back in the day, and half the people have PTSD, so why would they buy anything related again? I guess you could get a narrative going enough, but unless Top Shot gets a whole bunch of people that are on board that love it, or you get a whole bunch of the older crowd coming back, I mean, it's not going to read the mass adoption you're hoping for, I don't think. Okay, so McLovin, you're coming in here asking about NFTs. You buying any? Don't want any NFTs? Okay. So Agora here just bought 100 other side deeds. Now, I still don't totally understand what the hell is going on with the other deeds. Obviously, they've been massive time frames since the initial sale of these. Been a part of certain games. Certain people have like access, but I'm kind of ignorant because I don't really get it. And so I don't really understand the value prop. But Agora is all in. Now, on the flip side, you got Adam Hollander here saying, sold a lot of NFTs over the last week for tax loss harvesting. With the amount I lost on other side, which we just talked about, I could have probably bought a small island IRL. Win some, you lose some. The good old discrepancy of people buying and then the people selling. So what are your thoughts on NFTs as bull run? Are you going to need to get all the stupid while listings to get into the top project for cheap? So, I mean, my thought, generally speaking, for the NFT market is I don't really think the exclusive 10,000 collections are going to be that much of a thing. I feel like all these bigger brands are going to realize, hey, we can go and do something that is like mass market, right? So Cryptoys, where they've been associated with a whole bunch of different IPs and they can sell off of those. I don't, again, kind of ignorant in a way because I haven't checked them out in a while, but that's something that where you could just kind of create making more and more and more. And VV has kind of somewhat limitations on certain things as well. But I just think in general, all these brands are going to come into place and be like, hey, how can we get like the biggest reach? And are we going to want to try to have these exclusive perks at some kind of like PFP of a sort? I don't know if the PFP access really stands. The membership is something that I think could take a stand, where we've seen memberships generally kind of flounder, right? Most of the memberships within Web3 for a point were about tooling, where you were able to see if a rare NFT was unrevealed, and you had this tool that would tell you, hey, this one's a rare, but you wouldn't have realized that without the tool or being a know-it-all with all the stuff. And that was a huge gambit. Or a membership for whitelists. And then obviously there was like Starbucks Odyssey, where you could get different perks. And I think that is something that could be massive, right? Think of the people that go out every day to these different restaurants, and McDonald's now kind of leaning into it with Doodles, where you can get those collectibles. I think it's more going to be just this mass look on things. I do think like maybe one of one pieces, the X copies, the Jack Butchers, the people that have these narratives, and it's all about narratives. If you've noticed specifically within the last 48 hours, and if you're unhealthily on X, you will notice that almost all the conversations, 90% of it is all talking about AI agent created meme coins. That's literally the only topic that's going on right now. And you could look a week ago, it was kind of like rumblings of it, but that is the only topic of discussion right now. And so for these artists that have already created a narrative, phenomenal. We'll have a whole bunch of different narratives, people that come out through different chains, through different medians. But I think really all you need to do right now is, if you're selling something, figure out the narrative you want to run with and just try to implant that in everybody's brain. True. 10,000 going away feels right, in my opinion. Those will struggle, in my opinion. I also think that like there is merit to like having those bigger clusters of people. But what we've seen within the market downturn is, as soon as the prices aren't there and the vibes are kind of weird, it's not the same, right? Unless you have something to go off of, where there's a show, there's a movie, there's something you can connect with beyond the fact of, hey, we have the same image that we used as a profile picture. Right, just kind of what's going on with Apes? With the attention comes back, or is their interest as much as now? So I mean, Apes got a couple different things where they have that notoriety, they have that narrative. There's a lot of people that got into the space early. They maybe were a part of it when they saw Bored Apes go for like 150 ETH. They were always kind of FOMOing out that. Now they're at a point where if they've done really well on something, they could end up getting into it. I think that we'll see what happens through Ape Chain. It had its initial influx, and then it's felt like it's really slowed down a lot. I don't know how the staking and the token yield is going to age if people get annoyed with that. And as soon as the token yield isn't there, we see Apes kind of fall off. We do have a lot of collections that are also high in price range that don't have any token associated with it. But I mean, that's the likes of like Azuki, Pudgy Penguins, which the tokens are coming for it. So do we see the mass influx of somebody saying, hey, I want to sell this big asset for a bunch of minor ones? But I don't think we've gotten enough of broader collections that have made people really want to react. And we saw that initially. We saw like a little bit of a dip when Bitcoin and all the crypto kind of took off like 2 weeks ago. But now people are confident with their crypto and they're like, well, we want to spend crypto. Where are we going to go? And the only thing you can buy crypto right now is other crypto or NFTs. And they're picking to go in NFTs. Some of them. Breaking Solana 7-day decentralized exchange volume surpasses 40 billion for the first time. $40 billion. Look at this. Just straight up talking about the AI meme coins, talking about meme coins in general. They're cooking, creating insane amounts of numbers. So, just throwing this one out there for a little bit of perspective. I made a joke last week that was, do you want a crypto punk or do you want a house? Because somebody bought a hooded crypto punk for like 400 to 500,000 American. And I'm like, wow, how many people own a house? A ton. And not a lot of people own a crypto punk. True. More specifically, not a lot of people own a hooded crypto punk. True. And then you go and you see on the timeline the amount of people that are spending insane amounts on things. So do you want a cool cat or do you want to sit on a box for 2 hours at a football game and pay $653 for 50 chicken nuggets and like 5 pieces of pizza? Nah, that's crazy. People are just blowing money left, right, and center. Yo, wag me. Wag me vibes are insanely back. And finally, Ottawa family heartbroken after being scammed out of more than $22,000 on fake Taylor Swift tickets. We don't even know if the tickets are real, and people are spending $22,000 on something. Feels awful. Listen, absolutely horrible that happened. And the amount of stories I've seen of people like just losing their shirt on buying scam tickets, unreal. If only there was a way to properly authenticate things. If only there was a way to properly authenticate things. All right. We've been talking about it for the entire freaking year. Whew. All right, that's it for this edition of X Feed. McLovin, shout out McLovin, the one and only. Bro, listen, you got the Mick in your name. Now you got to go to McDonald's, get one of those doodles. You got to let me know if they have the cops or not, and we can complain about it later. I appreciate you coming through. And anybody that's watching the VOD on X, Twitch, YouTube, you guys are absolute legends. Thank you. I'll be back tomorrow as per usual. Enjoy your rest of your day. Peace.